2, 3, go.
All right. We
We have
are.
wait. We have to see if we're live first,
Oh, okay.
right? Right. I think we are. Somebody's
We are
saying
probably. Let's
something.
assume that we're live. So, hello everyone on YouTube.
Hello.
We're starting a little bit late because we were just working out some technical issues on our side, but we're excited to come out to you guys tonight with a special little Talk Daredevil live stream. And yeah, I am Phyllis, and I am joined by.
I'm Sam.
And you probably recognize us because we've been doing the mini-sodes on here. And yeah, we just wanted to take a little bit of time to get together, discuss this pretty big rumor that came out today.
Oh yeah, the big rumor. So we have it here on the screen, and this is coming from Morphe's Multiverse. It's written by Charles Villanueva, and basically the rumor
And
is
Charles,
that what?
go ahead. Sorry.
No, no,
Sorry.
no.
Go
You
ahead.
go ahead.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Okay, so it's basically Charlie Cox is back as Daredevil in Spider-Man 3. That's what they are saying. That Charlie is coming into Spider-Man 3. And I think you might want to say why this is different from all the other rumors, because we have had this rumor so many times in the past. I don't know how many months.
Right. I mean, I think the Daredevil and Spider-Man 3 rumor must have started last year. Was it last year when Spider-Man 2 came out? So people have been talking about this for a really long time. And, in the beginning it was probably more a bit like fan wish fulfillment type of thing. It makes so much sense if we could have Matt Murdock come in as Peter Parker's lawyer.
I made a mistake.
What's going on?
I closed the window. Don't worry about it.
Okay. All right. Well, Sam is getting that article back up. Yeah, so this is something that's been talked about for a really long time amongst like MCU fans, the Daredevil fans, and we've seen some kind of rumors coming out here and there over the course of this year from sort of various not news sources per se, but there are sites that tend to post kind of the same things over and over again, hoping to, strike on an actual bit of news, and, maybe an insider or two have talked about it. But, we've had a lot of news ramping up this week with like Spider-Man 3 casting, and we have already passed that Daredevil moratorium. And so, the news that came out today on Murphy's Multiverse, he has said it's verified with a few different sources, and we've heard other insiders in that community verify it too in their own way. It's still not confirmed. It's not officially confirmed on any outlets, on any trades. So for now, we're just going to treat it as a rumor. But as far as rumors go, this one does seem to have some legs, and it's clearly something that people really want to see. Because if you were on Twitter today, you'll have noticed that Charlie Cox and Daredevil both trended worldwide. So yeah, that's kind of where we are at right now with the rumor.
Wasn't even like our hashtag trending too at one point or something?
I have no idea, but for sure Charlie Cox was, for sure Daredevil was. They both hit like worldwide trends pretty early on. And people were just really excited to the point that like Jessica Jones was trending. I think Luke Cage might have like popped up briefly too. Marvel Netflix popped up. So, there was just a lot of conversation today. People are very excited at the idea of Charlie coming back as that character, and kind of by extension, people are very excited at the prospect of like this opening the door for Marvel Netflix to finally be acknowledged by Marvel Studios. So we don't know anything about that, but we do find that at least this first step with Charlie Cox potentially playing Daredevil again in an MCU movie as a very good step toward what we ultimately want to see, which is that we want to see Marvel revive the Daredevil series on a platform that can host a mature show with the same cast, the same creative team, same crew. But yeah, so what we can do maybe is just talk a little bit about what this rumor actually would mean. Because like I said before,
I also see some questions on. I mean, at least some comments in
Okay.
YouTube. I think Matthew Williams is saying that Graves Randolph said that it was confirmed, but that until he hears from Kevin Feige about it, he's not going to believe it. And
We're the same. We
yeah,
really do want to see. We really do want to see this confirmed, either by Marvel or Disney or through an actual trade publication. That's
hmm
why we keep saying for now we're just going to treat it as a rumor. It's definitely a rumor with, you know, a lot of momentum behind it, and it could very well be true. But just until we get something, we're just going to shy away from saying that it's happening. Um,
yeah. Right now,
yeah.
it's just a rumor that can go either way, but it is more
Mm-hmm.
legitimate than the other rumors we have been seeing from like the weekly um we got discovered rumor.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right. This is very different from we got this covered. Writing the same Daredevil is going to be in Spider-Man 3 article every month. um, and again, because a lot of voices, even though they're only insider scooper voices, have kind of added to that. It's a data point. It's something. I guess this might be an interesting time to bring up. Empire Magazine did post that tweet uh, earlier today
oh
with an
yeah,
article about it, and then it did get taken down. So you can
yeah,
kind of take from that what you will. It could go both ways,
that
right?
was
It
very
could be
interesting.
right.
But yeah, it could be either way. Like it could be Disney shutting them down because they don't want that information to be out, like in a serious way right now, or
hmm
it could be that it was unfounded or they made a mistake or something and just took it out internally, even.
Right, right. I mean, something about the news aspect of this that we'll bring up a little bit more in depth a little bit later. But tomorrow there is going to be a big event that Disney is hosting. It's their Disney Investor Day. It's going to be 4 hours long. We anticipate there will be announcements about new projects and perhaps existing projects. So if this was something they wanted to maybe save for a big announcement tomorrow, that could be why they went to someplace like Empire and had them take that information down. Or again, it could be maybe that there isn't as much to it as we think. But, I think someone was also asking in the chat, that they heard something about the deal potentially being struck months ago. And, that's an interesting thing that, again, we don't know the details. We are reading the same things you guys are, but there was some reporting at the beginning near the initial cancellation that the moratorium could have been around 18 months.
Yeah,
Again, because nothing was ever publicized, we just don't know. It was easier for us to go by the published reporting in Variety that it was going to be 2 years, have that be kind of the target, right? But it could have potentially ended a little bit sooner, but Marvel Studios kept mum about all that stuff.
I think
So
some of the actors were actually the ones talking about the 18 months instead of the 2 years. If
right.
I remember correctly, I think Amy who plays Marcy in
hmm
Daredevil. She was one of the first to talk about the moratorium. I think she said it was 18 months, but I'm sure I have heard that from some of the other actors. So there might be something to that, or maybe they just got confused. I don't know.
Yeah. I haven't read the article. I haven't read the interviews in a while. So I don't know if they were ever like 100% sure. Um, but so we've had that range potentially to work with. So again, if there was something to that, if we do find out that this is true and we do find out that it happened a few months ago, that could definitely be part of why we had that kind of timing. Um, so
So
what do you think
well,
about Charlie being Daredevil in this movie? Do you have
bef-
any thoughts about what it could actually be?
um, about Charlie appearing in this movie, well, I have some mixed feelings personally about it, but the first thing is, it seems like this movie is getting quite crowded at least from the looks of it, because it seems to be becoming into the Spider Verse. You got like the other Spider-Mans making an appearance. You got Doctor Oct, who was confirmed yesterday. So they seem to be bringing a lot of people into this. And the thing is, this is a movie. This is not a show. This is going to be 2 to 3 hours tops, you know.
Oh, definitely not
So
3 hours. It's not an end game, although they're certainly packing it in like it is. But
yeah,
yeah,
but let's say let's entertain that it could be like that long. It's not going
right,
to be more than
right,
that ever.
sure, uh-huh.
So there's just so much time that you can dedicate to one character or another. So even if he comes into this, I don't think his role will be that big. Uh, I mean, I'm personally not expecting more than 5 minutes or something of him there,
Yeah,
given all the characters.
I'm definitely expecting it to be a limited role.
Hmm.
Again, we don't know what exactly the movie is going to be like. Obviously, it's really jam packed with characters right now. We've heard things like, oh, most of the cameo or most of the outside characters being cast right now, from the other Spider-Man movies are going to be focused on the third act, and people have also said that Charlie's just going to be Matt Murdock. He's just going to be the lawyer. But we don't really know, right? We don't really know what that's going to look like, what it's going to be. My personal feeling is it's just going to be a small role. But what I do like about it being something small is that it just needs to be a reintroduction of
Hmm.
Daredevil into this current universe. And this is hopefully the springboard into using him in his own projects, like a Revive series, right? Because Marvel is kind of, they do like introducing characters that the audience isn't familiar with yet in existing properties. So
Yeah.
this would be very much in line with how they could bring in Daredevil or any of the other Defenders related characters by sprinkling them in through different movies or shows first.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Like they are doing that with Echo. They are doing that with
Mm-hmm.
oh my god, they are doing that with so many characters. So yeah, it is in line with what they are doing. Like this could be
Right.
just a reintroduction of Daredevil in the MCU,
Mm-hmm.
which is very much appreciated. But also with in line with what you were asking, one thing I would love to see, well, two things I would
Mm-hmm.
love to see is either if he's just the lawyer and stuff, I hope we get to see even if it is just a glimpse of Foggy. Like,
Right, right, right.
I mean, there's no really Mad Murdock lawyering without Foggy around there, so I hope we get to see a glimpse of him somewhere.
Oh, I mean, if he's going to be lawyering, you might as well have Nelson Murdoch and Page all there,
Yeah, yeah,
right? I
yeah, right.
mean,
So
yeah.
I hope we see that if he's the lawyer. If he's not, I would love for his role to be Murdock because that's a
Mm,
very interesting twist to give to the character and like see Charlie playing Murdock. That will be cool.
right, right. So if anyone is unfamiliar, there is gosh, is it Spider-Gwen's universe?
Yeah.
Matt Murdock is Matt Murdock, and I've only read a little bit of those comics, so I can't speak on it very knowledgeably. But if this movie is indeed delving into the Spider-Man multiverse, then that could be a really cool way to bring in the Matt Murdock character, and maybe we will still have him in a canon version of his character in
Mm-hmm.
like his own show. So there are a lot of possibilities for how they can use him, and just knowing though that this is Disney, this is Marvel Studios, they are not gonna just bring Daredevil in for one small role. He is very popular, as the internet showed us on November 29th, and the internet showed us again today. People want him back. People really, really want to see him back, and there is a really strong appetite for that. And so, if Disney is smart and in the position to want to make more money, which they are, it would be wise to be planning to develop more for Daredevil to do. And again, we can't think of a better way to do that than through his own show, and then you can additionally tack on, roles in other movies and stuff. So there's a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities, and we have a little bit of precedent with this also because we had the Hulk with the first
Mm-hmm.
movie when that was played by
Mm-hmm.
Edward Norton. Then it switched cast, and
Right.
Hulk hasn't had his movie, but even so, they didn't just bring him for a cameo in Avengers
Mm-hmm.
or anything. Like he has been ever present in all the other movies, so that speaks with what you were saying that they wouldn't, if they bring him back, I don't think they will just bring him for Spider-Man 3 and that's it.
Right. Right. We do have a couple of comments and questions. So one that I see here is, do you think they could use Daredevil in a post-credit scene to set up the next movie or a Disney Plus revival of the series?
I mean, yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, I
Like,
think so.
if they're not going to, let's imagine that they are not really using him in the movie itself, they could do it in the post credit and just set it up for something else. They love doing that anyway.
Yeah, right. I mean, yeah, they're not gonna stop doing post-credit scenes, and if they do multiples, then they could definitely use one of those, especially if Daredevil will already be there, to help set something up for the future. Um, Someone also said, I really hope Kevin Feige doesn't forget the Defenders. We hope they don't. We hope he doesn't either. We've always said with this campaign, rising tide raises all boats. So
Yep.
if we can make something happen with Daredevil and Charlie coming back, it does open the door to seeing the other characters return. Now, we can't speak as to what the plans might be for those characters. We are really only focused on Daredevil within our campaign and the Daredevil related casts. But you know, it's 2020, so we've all our motto for 2020 is never say never,
Yeah.
because anything can happen.
It has been a crazy year, so yeah, it is upside down. Anything can happen. I won't say no to anything this year. But
Right.
we also have a question from Simsy, who's
Mm-hmm.
asking related to the Defenders if like the other Netflix character will make an appearance. And I don't think they will in Spider-Man 3 because you have a basis for Daredevil to appear just because
Right.
he has a deep connection with the Spider-Man in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
That's not necessarily the case with the other Defenders. So I don't see them. I mean, I won't say no. Who knows? It could happen. It really
Mm-hmm.
could. And like, especially Frank Castle loves appearing everywhere and just messing around with people. So he is also like a wild card. But I don't think that will happen in this one. They could appear somewhere else later. But yeah, I don't know if they will
Yeah.
appear in Spider-Man 3, especially with how crowded it is getting.
Yeah, it just because it's a more tenuous tie, I think, with the other
Hmm.
Defenders characters, even if maybe they've crossed paths more often in the comics.
Hmm.
I just don't see there being enough room to properly service adding even more Defenders characters. But again, the door, if this happens, the door can be opened, right? And that's an important first step to remember. Um, let's see, looking through the comments again. Marco, you're expressing some, some concern because Disney Marvel, they want the best for profit and not the fans, which is very true. They're a conglomerate. They're a huge corporation, and you're right. And I think just to kind of remind people, we're kind of here to represent the fans and represent what the fans want. And there's never been a guarantee that they're necessarily going to listen to us, but we do find it important to continue putting our voice out there, because you just never know. I think if we had assumed after the cancellation that nothing could be done about what Marvel and Disney would decide to do with Daredevil, it's very possible that things would have gone a very different direction a long time ago. Can we say that for sure? Of course we can, because we don't know everything that's going on, but we feel very strongly that Save Daredevil being around for as long as it has and being such a consistent part of the conversation certainly hasn't hurt our chances at something like this happening, right? As something like Charlie Cox being able to come back as Daredevil, because we've been able to help organize and show Marvel and Disney that demand. Um, so again, we definitely can relate with those fears, but we are also trying to keep a positive outlook on what can possibly happen. um, yeah.
Do we have any more questions?
I'm trying to look. We have some. So someone asks, is it confirmed 100% that Charlie's going to appear? Is it verified news? It is not verified news. It is not 100% confirmed. We just wanted to have a conversation, though, to discuss it, because obviously this is the big Daredevil news of the day.
It's blowing up the internet.
It has blown up the internet, and it would be odd for us to not say something about it. I know that luckily for those of you that have followed us for as long as you have, know how we feel about unverified rumors and and things like that. And so we're still waiting. We're still waiting for that verification. But if you did miss kind of our conversation about why we do think there might be something more to this one than the others, you can definitely rewatch the live stream once it's done. But yeah, still not confirmed. We are also still waiting for some kind of confirmation. And again, a reminder that there is a Disney Investor Day tomorrow that is likely to come with a lot of announcements. So maybe
That
something might come out tomorrow, but we don't know.
that one is very exciting. Like
Very exciting.
even in the realm of possibility that it has nothing Daredevil related, it's still very exciting just to see the direction
Mm-hmm.
that Disney is planning to go. Especially now that they announced Deadpool 3, which is
Yes.
supposed to be an R-rated movie, which is
Mm-hmm.
a novelty for Marvel Studios. So that's very
Right.
important to us in a way because we also want a TVMA, a Marvel Studio show.
Mm-hmm. I think the big thing about that is this, and why we're also hoping to hear something about Deadpool 3 tomorrow is it this kind of opens the door for Marvel Studios to officially legitimize like R-rated Marvel content, right? Because up until this point, they have been very, very firm about PG-13. It has to be family friendly. It has to
Hmm.
be able to live on Disney Plus. Marvel Studios is confirmed to be producing the Deadpool 3 movie. And so if they do end up making an official announcement or some kind of presentation about it tomorrow, we might have a better idea of how they plan to handle Deadpool in relation to the rest of the MCU and the rest of their content on Disney
Hmm.
Plus. I
Well,
think
we're
someone had mentioned the rumor too, right, about Hulu and Disney Plus, and um,
merging.
we, yes, about them merging. Um, we're gonna see. We're gonna see what happens tomorrow. We think there is some possibility that we could hear again some more plans about what, if any, if there are any plans about allowing mature content to be within spitting distance of Disney Plus content. But it would certainly make it a little bit easier uh, for a Daredevil show to come back on the same platform. Um, but yeah, we're going to definitely do some recording tomorrow after the event is done. We're going to sort of assess the news that we came out with. Again, we just don't know what they're going to say, but we know it's 4 hours long and we know they're going to have a lot to talk about.
Yep. We have a great question here from
Mm.
Stilt Stiltovarl. I don't know how to pronounce that very well, so but
Stealthabot.
that.
Mm-hmm.
So they're asking, should we make Save Daredevil trend again tomorrow for the Investor Day announcements?
Mm. So that is a great question. It's something we've been actually talking about if we should try to do anything tomorrow. Um, we're not sure about trending, only because Twitter is weird and Twitter actually doesn't really like letting you trend very close together. And we did such an amazing job the first time we trended, going over like 60,000 tweets, that it might be a little bit hard to organize something of that level again on short notice for tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
But what we really do want to do is just make sure people are aware that this event is happening. It's going to be starting at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time and going 4 hours. So we assume it's going to end around 8:30. And we just want fans who are like online to just be aware of what's coming out. If there's news, if there's announcements, Marvel Studios will be posting stuff. Marvel will be posting stuff. Disney might post stuff. And the trades will certainly be posting things. And, if
Mm-hmm.
you guys see things that are potentially related to Daredevil or our campaign or mature Marvel, like go ahead and engage those comments. Drop our hashtag in there, hashtag Save Daredevil, quote, tweet, and add your own commentary. We want Disney to see that we're still here and part of the conversation. We expect them to be keeping an eye on social media tomorrow, especially because they know that they are hosting a high profile event and this stuff is going to get out into the news. So yeah, be aware and engage. And, it might not be a trending event, but if there are any announcements related to Daredevil, I imagine that they will probably take off. So we want as many of our fans and followers and just the Daredevil fandom in general to just be aware that that could happen and to be ready to join the conversation.
Relating to that, God Squash is asking, do you have anyone that will be listening to the investor call?
Yes, actually, a bunch of our team will be listening, only because I believe it is going to be publicly webcast. And so I believe that Sam has the page for the webcast up on our stream right
Yeah,
now.
I do.
Um, yeah, if you can scroll back up, I know we're on a little bit of a delay, but it has all the information. So technically, if anyone in the public wants to go check it out too, they can technically, presumably, go to this page and watch the webcast. And so we're going to be watching it privately as a team, and then we're going to be recording our thoughts on it after. But certainly, if the public wants to go ahead and join, and again, I'm assuming this is publicly available because that's sort of what the page is implying,
Yeah.
they'll be able to watch it here too. So this is like pretty nerdy of all of us, but it should be a good time. And yeah, we're excited to be recording our thoughts on this after. We're keeping our fingers crossed that there'll be some good, relevant news to talk about.
Okay. Coney is asking when we will know for sure.
We really don't know. It's a hard thing to answer. I mean, I'd love to use an example like Haley being cast as Kate Bishop in Hawkeye has still not been officially confirmed. But obviously she is on set filming the Hawkeye show.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just assuming that there might eventually be a trade confirmation because the trades have been confirming a lot of these Spider-Man
Mm-hmm.
um, cameos. So logically, if Charlie Cox is indeed going to be in Spider-Man, it's probable we will eventually see some kind of confirmation. As to when, it's hard to say. We kind of just have to be patient and wait. You know, we have been all living through a pandemic. There are probably a lot of people at Disney and Marvel that are furloughed that might have helped with getting a lot of this news out sooner. So, you know, your guess is as good as ours, but we're just hopeful we will see something because we would love to see this be officially confirmed.
Ideally, we will see that confirmed tomorrow in the call. Like in an
Right.
ideal world, that will be the day.
Right.
But
Right. Right.
we don't
Right.
know if that's going to be happening, so we will just have to be patient and wait for a better source to confirm this.
Mm-hmm. I did want to go back up to a quick question that Selthaba actually had earlier, and he asked if, or he said Charlie Cox recently got cast in a new TV series. I wonder if that may be a conflict of interest, which is a great question, and we don't think so actually because we have some details about the show that he got cast on. It is currently filming in Ireland. It's been filming for I want to say about a month now. We were able to see some details published online as far as like how long that shoot was going to be, and it's going to film up until the end of February. So we don't know how that syncs up with Spider-Man's planned shooting time. I'm not clear what the schedule is for production for Spider-Man. We know that they did start filming, I think, in November in New York, and that might eventually move back to Atlanta. I don't know. So there is certainly a chance for those things to overlap. Um, but if he is only going to be in a small role and maybe he only shows up in like the third act or something, then you know he could very feasibly wrap up filming on Kin, which is the show that he's currently working on, and get back to America to film whatever small role he's supposed to film for Spider-Man 3. So as far as we know, you know that shoot for the show that he's on does have a very firm end date, and he will be done with that project, and then who knows for the rest of 2021. But there shouldn't be any major conflicts there.
Yeah, and I mean, like even if they just want to use him for a credit, and
Mm-hmm.
credit scene or something like that, they can just shoot that after he's done in end of February and add it. I don't know if in case that it was done or something, the shooting.
Exactly. And Esteban says, it's so great that you guys are bilingual. It really opens the door to a wider community. And I have to agree. And a lot of that is because of Sam. So,
Oh no, you're
Sam,
making me blush.
thank you for being a voice on our team that can reach a wider community. I think it's been so great to see the Latin community really rise up and support us and engage with us. And, Sam, if you have any more comments on that, I will let you talk about that. But I just wanted to say that it's pretty awesome from where I'm
Oh,
sitting.
I just thank you, and I guess if si tienen alguna pregunta en español pueden hacerla, déjenla en el chat y intentaré lo mejor que pueda para responderla. I think that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
I'm
just
saying
said
yes, like I know what you said.
I just said
Nice.
if they had any questions in Spanish to leave it in the chat.
Awesome. Esfan also mentioned that Mike holds many shows in the same time. So I think it's possible for Charlie to do it. We 100% agree. Mike, I don't know,
Mike is
has
a
worked on so much stuff during the
superman.
pandemic.
Mike is a
Vincent as well.
superman. Yeah, Vincent too,
Vincent is also
but
pushed
Mike
out a lot of
was
projects.
on top of everything he was doing a lot of cons last year. That was like
Mm-hmm.
I was that was kind of crazy because every con I went to, Mike was there. I was like, dude, you have so much to do.
Right, right. But hey, that's that. I'm not an actor, but I imagine that's the life of an actor. You're not just like you're supposed to have multiple irons in the fire, kind of working through multiple projects. That is the life of a successful actor. We're very glad that Mike is a successful actor. So, it's very possible for a lot of these actors who, yeah, their show was canceled 2 years ago, but it doesn't mean they can't renegotiate contracts and come back and schedule a Daredevil show in between any other commitments they have. So it's a good reminder for people to remember that actors don't necessarily only focus in on just one thing at a time,
Hmm.
to the exclusion of everything else. So
What do
let's
we have?
see.
Uh,
Nat, we have one. Maybe Charlie's role will be the same size as Tom Holland's in Civil War. Like he said in the past, that length of screen time is the best way to introduce new characters. It's definitely possible, but again, we just don't know. We don't know how long Spider-Man is shooting, and we don't know how they are planning to integrate the character in if they are. Luckily, I think there are different ways for them to utilize Daredevil that might not only have to be this movie. So I guess we'll see.
yeah, I know some people that are hoping to see him in Moon Knight.
Mm-hmm. So we were also hoping to see him in She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess technically, Matt Murdock, the attorney, can pop up in at least She-Hulk, and then Daredevil, the superhero, could pop up in Midnight. There are possibilities, and then Daredevil can pop up
Well,
in his show.
yeah. I was going to
So,
say that, like, please leave him some time to have his own show,
exactly.
or even his
Yep.
own movie, whatever they want to do, but like his own thing too, please.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want to see him just relegated to cameos in other people's stuff.
Right. Right. Right.
Um,
Um, Marco also asked, "Are the Netflix shows still going to be on Netflix once the character rights go back to Marvel?" Marco, you have to watch our last YouTube minisode.
yeah.
We recorded an episode just about that. Um, but spoiler alert: the character rights are back at Marvel, and the shows are still on Netflix. But they will not be on Netflix forever. So,
Yeah, but it will probably will be so for at least a year or two.
at least, yep. Um, do you see anything else? Anything else we need to cover?
Let's see. Echo, a Daredevil character, was casting Hawkeye, so that may also be an option for DD to cameo in. I did say, I think it was back in the podcast about when we were answering question, I did say that I would love to see a Hawkeye Daredevil
Mm-hmm.
encounter. So I approve of that.
Yeah, I think the only issue would be timing,
Hmm.
really. Um, just again because Charlie is currently shooting a show and the Hawkeye show is also shooting right now. Um, but again, it would be really cool to eventually see Echo and Daredevil cross paths. So this is clearly an introduction for Echo as well.
Hmm.
So it'd be nice to kind of see what kind of groundwork they lay for her on Hawkeye, and get an idea for where they might take that character further in the MCU.
I mean, all those things are still so early into production that anything could
Right.
happen. Who
Hmm.
knows what goes on by then. We
Hmm.
also have a question from Kevin1 asking Heroes for Hire. I would love to see Heroes for Hire actually, and I think like back when they canceled Luke Cage, there was a lot of buzz around it, like that maybe they were bringing both Iron Fist and Luke Cage back
Hmm.
into Heroes for Hire. So I would love to see that. Um, but who knows? Like that's as much something we can confirm as this. So
Yeah. Yeah. I think in general, if you ask any of us and you ask any fans who are the fans of Marvel Netflix shows, we'd love to see Heroes for Hire. We'd love to see Daughters of the Dragon.
hmm
You know, we'd love to see Jessica come back. We'd love to see Frank come back. We'd obviously very much want to see Daredevil and his cast come back. So, I mean, if we were running the shows and we were making the decisions, it'd be a very easy one for us, but we aren't, unfortunately. But just fingers crossed. Again, as long as we can crack that door open, we just won't know what the treatment is of the character and how quote unquote canon it will be to the original series until something happens and is committed on screen. So we might have to wait a little bit to find out. But again, steps in the right direction. But we certainly are not done fighting for a series revival.
yeah. So Francisco Ribeiro has another question. It will be, will the Defenders be canon in the MCU? And I know
Mm.
that's something a lot of people has been asking for a long time.
Hmm.
So you want me to answer that one?
Yeah, why don't you answer that one?
Well, the thing is, like, we don't know, and even if they confirm Charlie tomorrow, let's say, for Spider-Man 3, we wouldn't know because let's say they bring him back and it is our Charlie and everything, you really can't say what is canon or not until they actually say it. Like, oh yeah, that those shows are 100% canon, or like they could be doing a soft reboot of the character where some of the stuff that is in the shows is canon and some is not. There are so many possibilities. Like we don't even know of even if they confirm tomorrow or anything if this is
Hmm.
the same Charlie, I mean, the same Daredevil that we saw in Netflix, it could be somebody from another universe. So it's really hard to say from here whether those shows are right now canon. However, Marvel never said they weren't. So
Hmm.
they also like you can use the argument that until they are contradicted, they are canon to the MCU.
I think that's a good stance to have. Um, and
Yeah.
and just to point out again that because the Spider-Man movie will be delving in so much into the multiverse,
hmm
apparently, if Charlie does only have a bit role as Matt Murdock, we still don't even know. Will he be quote unquote canon Matt Murdock or will he be a multiverse Matt Murdock? We don't
Yeah.
know, right? Because we haven't had the opportunity to explore what the baseline Matt Murdock would be in MCU property. So
Yeah.
it could be that he is in a completely unrelated little multiverse story and then he still shows up as his canon self in a show. So there's just a lot of things that you can
And
you
like even
know
if it was
have theories on, but
like even if it was
mhm,
based on MCU Matt Murdock, and they say like we go with the series, they could still reckon Fins in the future. So it's canon can be a
right,
slippery slope.
right, yeah. It's just it's great to discuss and it's great to like theorize about, but we just have to wait. We just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Um, so Lily Masters has a question. This might be a good one to wrap up on. Do you think that Charlie Cox's Daredevil and Spider-Man will decrease our chances of getting a standalone series for Daredevil?
I don't think so. I I don't because this is the thing. If they're really bringing back Charlie as their devil for Spider-Man 3, this is Marvel Studio and Disney reclaiming their property basically. This is them telling us this is not Netflix. This is us. This is, our
Mm-hmm.
Daredevil. So I don't think that decreases the chances. It could increase it actually, or just be a sign that they are willing to bring back the series. However, if we as a community, like the Daredevil community, just say, okay, it's done, that was good, um, then maybe they won't bring it because they still need to see that there's interest in a revival for the show, not just like for Matt Murdock to appear on Spider-Man 3, so that we still have a mission, even if they confirm that he is in Spider-Man 3. And is that my
Yeah.
take? Do you have a different take?
No, my take is pretty similar to yours. I mean, we know that a lot of fans have been asking to see him in Spider-Man 3, and they're
Mm-hmm.
clearly very excited to hear this rumor come out today that it might actually happen. And we're very excited too, because again, this opens a door for us to see what we actually want, to see the show saved. But no, we really don't think that that draws a line at all. We think that it only gives this idea of Charlie being Daredevil for longer more possibility. Because as we've said earlier in the stream, Disney's not just going to bring him up. They're not going to just bring him back one time and be a one and done. That's not how Disney works. That's not how Marvel works.
Mm-hmm.
The whole Marvel cinematic universe is predicated on the fact that we have all of these awesome Marvel characters that can crisscross across movies and shows and exist in each other's stories. And so to think about Marvel Studios only showing a character to us one time and then taking them away, especially a character as major as Daredevil, it doesn't line up with what they do. So, if they are indeed putting him in Spider-Man 3, it should my assumption is that it's just the beginning, that they will do something more with him because it just doesn't make sense for them not to. And as Sam said, what's important for us now and what's important for our mission is to make it very clear that the line it does not stop with Spider-Man 3. And we think
Yeah.
for like 99% of the fans, that's the same case. No one's going to be like, oh, wait, I've seen Daredevil in 5 minutes of Spider-Man 3. I'm done. No one's going to say that, except maybe like one person that wants to be a contrarian. Everyone's going to be like, hey, that was awesome. We want more Daredevil. When are you going to give it to us?
Yep.
Right. So, yeah. So that's my opinion on it anyway.
All right. So, do we have any more questions, or are we wrapping up?
We can wrap up. We're gonna again as a reminder, the Disney Day or the Disney Investor Day is tomorrow. If you want to watch it, there is a way to watch it. We will be watching it, and Sam and I will be both together and her separately for our Spanish audience. Be recording some kind of reaction minisodes about what we heard. We do anticipate again there'll be some kind of news. We don't know if it will be Daredevil related, but we hope that it will be mature Marvel related potentially. So, if you are going to be online or you're going to be watching or you're just going to be paying attention to the announcements that are coming out, if you can engage with those things online, engage with it on Twitter, drop our hashtag whenever you can. And yeah, we're going to have more content for you guys very soon.
Yeah. So, fan will add commentary in Spanish now so that the Spanish people that are watching us
Mm-hmm.
know what's up. Sí haremos más contenido en español. Mañana es el día de los inversionistas en Disney y estarán haciendo una llamada desde las 4:30 ET. Creo que es de 4 horas o algo así. Vamos a estar cubriendo eso y vamos a hacer un video con referencia a eso y cualquier tema de importancia para la misión de Save Daredevil que toquen, lo estaremos cubriendo en un video en español prontamente. Suscríbanse si no se han suscrito y síganos en las redes sociales, estaremos cubriéndolo todo. Y mañana, si pueden, usen el hashtag SaveDaredevil o respondan con Daredevil a los comentarios de Disney. Disney definitivamente estará viendo las redes sociales y poniendo atención. Y resumiendo todo, todavía es un rumor. No está confirmado que Charlie Cox estará en Spider-Man 3. No, todavía estamos esperando la confirmación. Pero parecen ser buenas las posibilidades de que pase. And that's pretty much it.
Okay, cool. Well, I guess that wraps up this live stream. Again, if you came in a little late, I believe once we wrap this up, you'll be able to rewatch it. So don't worry, you'll be able to catch up on what you missed. And if you do have any questions for us, you can always reach us on any of our social media accounts. We're Renew Daredevil at Twitter, and we're Save Daredevil on Instagram and Facebook, pretty much everywhere else.
Hmm.
And if you like our content and you like what we're doing here on YouTube, please subscribe. It would be great, and then you'll be notified immediately when we do more live streams or when we post more minisodes. And yeah, that's all I got, Sam. What about you?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Oh,
All right. Okay. Thanks, guys, for joining us tonight. And thank you for asking questions. Have a good night.
buenas noches y muchas gracias.